if you have your mirror lit from both sides, so the candle reflection isn't in the mirror, and you see yourself in a mirror, you can use the mirror trick. It's an old witch's trick to help you get outside of the limitations of one perspective, that of this world, and that is to look at your mirror and know you are you looking at your mirror. Be very aware of yourself, your face on this side. It's me looking in my mirror. And then you're aware of the fact that it's all about the reflection you're seeing in the mirror. Distance yourself from my face here looking at it. Instead, it's about what I'm seeing. See, the perspective is I went from here out to here. Then, and this is where the witch's power comes about. Be yourself on the other side of the mirror. Because if you think of that reflection in the mirror, be yourself on the other side of the mirror looking at that same reflection. So step one, it's my face in this world. Look at me. Aren't I cute in the mirror? Step two, it's not about this. Focus now just on what you see. The surface of the mirror, your image in the mirror. Then have a sense of yourself on the other side looking at the same image. And then you can even draw back to who you are on the other side. Again, no fear involved. Nothing's pulling you in, because the energy, you've blessed it. It is full of the energy of the moon. You have put your elixir on it. You've put your personal stamp on it. You are in a sphere like a magic circle. You're not being pulled in or sucked in. The only time that kind of thing happens is if you don't follow whatever ritual works for you. I need to capture the moon in my mirror every time I use it. I need to do a certain ritual on how I put the elixir and my personal stamp onto the mirror. That's my thing. The repeating pattern of how you set it up. What you do once you've got it set up can be different every single time. But you put your stamp on it. And you have decided that it's about my energy, and is my energy connected to the universe, but within my control, because I have set my stamp upon the mirror. Let's talk for just a minute when you have had your moments of revelation. Now, mind you, something very specific can come to you working with a mirror. But that something specific could be nothing more than release of stress, feeling of being calm and centered. I very often get that feeling of floating, but at a spiritual place when I work with the mirror. Oh, I certainly like it when an image makes itself known to me, or I smell something, or I hear something, or an answer comes to me. Well, that's fun when that happens. Often that's what I go in search of. But sometimes working with my mirror is nothing more than feeling that weightlessness outside of any burdens physically or mentally here. And working with the mirror can be powerful if nothing more than at that level. But no matter whether it's a specific experience or whether it is a relax of attachment and ease and just feeling connected with understanding your own energy and the energy of the universe, there is a coming back that has to happen after you've used your mirror, just like when you come back and ground at the end of a circle. You need to come back to the place that you know well, that your body lives in. An act of grounding is very important when you've finished working with your mirror for the night. I should mention night. I never work with my mirror during the day, only at night. It's not the only time you can work with a mirror. And in fact, it can be very interesting, and I have tried it, to bring down the sun into your mirror. Very interesting in its own way. I prefer, though, to devote my workings with the mirror to the moon because of its tradition of being the drawing down element and the drawing down of the moon into it. When it's done, just like whatever you use as a ritual every time to open it up, to make yourself receptive to the fluid of the universe and your own personal fluid, something needs to ground that at the end. The only thing important is that there be this something that you do every time as a repeating pattern that you know, the universe knows, and your mirror knows. And you'll understand what I mean about the mirror knowing when you become a partner with your mirror. There are lots of ways that you can ground your mirror when you're done. A favorite one for me is to light incense. Light incense and fill the room that I'm working in. So if I were in front of this mirror, I would light it and excuse me, I would light it and I would fill the area in front of the mirror with incense, being very aware of the fact that the incense encounters the mirror as a solid substance. The incense will not go through the mirror. So if you were finished working with your mirror, the first thing you want to do is whatever you were using to take you away, eliminate it. You can quietly settle down the fog. You could extinguish a candle if you were using candle as the focus. If you were using the candles on either side for illumination, you can do one of two things. You can feel yourself pull back by the simple act of being very aware of your body, and I'm here and I'm now. Or if it helps you, extinguish those candles. Put yourself in the dark for a moment to withdraw from it. Have another source of light. And don't use the candles that you've been using with the mirror. Always good to extinguish them when you're ready to pull back from the mirror. There are a couple of things you can do. The incense works well. Using your breath on the surface of the mirror works well. It reminds you you're on this side. Your breath will leave you and it will not penetrate the mirror. You might make a certain symbol or sigil on it, just like you had certain symbols you used when you started out, where you ringed the mirror and put some kind of a symbol on it. You might want to do that at the end. I do something very simple with my mirror. I breathe into it. I'm very aware I'm seeing my breath condensate on it and ease off. And then I take the mirror off the stand and I lay my palm flat on it. This is on the mirror surface, not the back. I'm putting myself in tune with the mirror as a physical object, as a mundane object. Some people like to ring their mirror with whatever their elixir they're using is in an opposite way. So say it's a banishing movement. Whatever the sign was that they used on the mirror, they might make the same sign. I've done that. It works very well. However, for me, I found out I don't do it with the elixir. I do it with my own elixir. Whatever my signal is that I use. When I'm done with my mirror, I like to breathe on it. I like to lay my hand on it. I turn it over, and whatever my pattern is that I use to bless the mirror to begin with, I do the same thing, only not with the elixir, with my saliva. My own thing that I do. All that matters is you repeat the pattern and do the same thing each time. You might consider, and it's what I do, you might consider when your ritual is done, when your work with your mirror is done, it's over with. You're done, you've cleaned up, the housekeeping's done, you're back to the mundane world. Re-cleanse your mirror, perhaps with alcohol. I don't know why alcohol works so well. It works the best for me with my crystal ball too, when it needs attention. When there's been too much of my greasy little hands touching all over it, it needs to be cleansed. Getting it back to a starting place works well with the alcohol. It might be because alcohol to us smells so fresh and almost a little bit, that it takes our brain to the place where we assign the right property to the mirror. Who knows? But it works. You might want to try that. You can bathe it in water. Don't ever, though, use soap on your mirror. I say that because it doesn't work for me. That doesn't mean you can't try it for you and see if a good old soap bath works for your mirror. It doesn't for me. Because I was told it wouldn't? Yeah, it might be because of that. A couple of other things I want to mention with the mirror. Any form of divination that you can imagine can be done in the mirror. A lot of candle work can be done in the mirror, smoke work. Lighting a candle in front of your mirror and then seeing the smoke in the mirror. Imagine anything that you can do that plays with light as a way to play with reflection. Reflection works with your mirror. Mirrors also can be great portals for opening and closing the quarters in your circle. I wanted to mention this because my first experience of the mirror, back in the day when I was a maiden to my first coven, we used, at the dark of the moon, the mirror opened our quarters. Where you often read in books about people going to each of the quarters and doing the invoking and closing pentagrams for all the corners, and all that waving around of hands and blade and everything else. We did something a little more simple in that first coven. I've actually taken back to doing that myself in my private practice was at the dark of the moon we held the mirror up to each of the quarters when we invoked the quarter as an opening of the portal, and it works beautifully. Now, times other than the dark of the moon, I use my patent for that. If you haven't tried using your patent to open your quarters, give it a shot. It's especially good, I think, for those of us who, for whatever reason, don't currently have a need for waving around blades and making pentacles in the air and casting those flaming pence that we all hear about. That works great in public ritual. Everybody's attention's caught, everybody's mindset's in the same place. But you can also effect that both in a shared ritual or on your own by the focus you give by holding up your patent in your mirror. I wanted to mention that because that's another powerful use of the mirror. You can also play with your mirror, working in groups. In that, remember I told you how I put my hand on my mirror to take back the magic part of the mirror when I'm done working with it? You can also place your fluid, your energy into a mirror. You can do a working that you want to magnify what you're doing. And you can put your hand into your mirror, willing your fluid, your energy into the mirror, which we know is a condenser. It will magnify your energy. You continue going about the business of the magic that you are doing. If I were doing something back here at my altar, I have magnified what I'm doing by using the mirror as a condenser of my personal energy. You can do that when you're working with others too. Passing a mirror around a group where you each take a moment to either breathe into it or one by one lay your palms on it and then putting it back on your mirror, it's kick-ass, I gotta tell you.